So growing up, I always wanted a job like my dad. He was a hard worker. I'm 21 now, and I was only 18 at the time working at a gas station. There was a fair share of homeless people that would come in for stuff and use the bathroom, but one in particular caught my eye. She had no nose, and she was blind in one eye. I think it was bright crystal blue. She would come in, but wasn't like the other ones. She would lock herself in the bathroom when no one else was in the store. Now for reference, I have to clean those bathrooms on my shift, or I'll get in trouble. She would sit in the bathroom from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m., scream crying hard one time. She came in, didn't use the bathroom. We were allowed to give free coffee to the cops, and I'd sometimes give my dad free coffee when he stopped in there before his shift. He's a blue-collar worker, and as I am now. I wanted to be nice to her. She looked like she had a rough night. I wanted to help, so I gave her a free coffee and told her it was free. She asked me, "Really?" She seemed touched and then grabbed a donut, which I didn't say she could have, but I didn't stop her. She grabbed another and ran out. Nothing weird, I thought. Maybe she finally had that break she wanted. The next night comes. Now things get weird. She didn't come in this night. She stood at the window staring right through me. I waved at her and she didn't move. She just stared at me. I waited to see her blink, but she didn't. She just stood there. I decided to close the blinds. Now for reference, we have a circle counter and a window I would have seen her walk away from, but she never did. Terry, the manager, came over and he told me I couldn't have the blinds down at night. When he opened them, she was gone. I went outside to do the trash. I went to each pump, taking out the trash one at a time, and as I got to the last one, she was there, running at me full sprint. I'm not fat, but I'm a bit stocky, so I grabbed the cart full of trash I had, and I ran back to the gated area with the trash compactor, and I shut it. She grabbed the gate, her pupils wider than before, watching me breathe heavily. I quickly threw the trash in the compactor and went in. As I went in, I heard our doorbell come on. She was in the store now, but looked normal. She stole more donuts and stared at me as she left. I told my manager, and he said he'll do something about it. Thank God I didn't have work the next day. When I went back to work on Thursday, he told me he handled it, and as I was standing there, she was looking at me again. This time, it was the same look when she was holding the gate. I was so scared, and she came in looking at me. She went to our bathroom, and I heard the screaming and crying and throwing of stuff. Terry told me to go make her leave. She did seem unhappy, but I didn't see her the rest of the night. When I was doing the trash, something smelled horrible. Friday rolls around, and I had a daytime shift. As I'm in there, I was told they found a dead body behind our store of a homeless woman. She had been dead for at least a week or two. She was decaying, but I had just seen her the other night, and cameras had caught her. My manager had seen her. We both talked about it shortly after. I quit not too long after, and I work with my dad now, but sometimes I get scared, wondering how I could have seen someone dead for a week or two, walking and talking. My fiance and I love hiking. We've had some strange moments on trails before, but nothing like what happened a few weeks ago. We went for a short hike at a state park. We've been there dozens of times. Since it was just a quick trip before dinner, we didn't pack our usual things. No knives, no pepper spray. I even said, "It'll be fine. We've done this one plenty of times." The first half was normal. The air was calm. The woods were quiet. Then, we came around a bend and saw a woman standing off to the side, crying softly. Not loud or dramatic, just quietly, like she wasn't even aware anyone else was there. A few feet ahead of her was a man with his back turned, pushing a stroller down a rocky trail where a stroller made absolutely no sense. We kept walking, trying not to stare. About 5 minutes later, we decided to turn back because we were starving. On our way back, we saw the man again, still pushing the stroller. I glanced inside out of curiosity. It was empty. No baby, no blanket, just an empty stroller being shoved through the woods. Without thinking, I whispered to my fiancée, "There's no baby in there." I thought we were far enough away that he wouldn't hear me. We weren't. My fiancé looked over his shoulder a moment later and said quietly, "He's staring right at us." I didn't look back. I didn't have to. I could feel it, the weight of his stare. Then came the sound of footsteps behind us, picking up speed. He was following us. We started walking faster. He sped up too. Every time we looked back, he was still there. Not close enough to reach us, but always visible, always watching. We passed the crying woman again, and she didn't even look up. The stroller was gone now. The man in his blue hoodie was walking quickly behind us. That's when we ran. My chest was tight. I could barely breathe, but every time I glanced back, I saw flashes of blue moving through the trees. The trail had sharp turns, and each time we rounded one, we'd lose sight of him for a second. Then there he was again, still walking, still following. Finally, after what felt like forever, we caught up with another group of hikers ahead. As soon as we did, he was gone, vanished into the woods. We sprinted to the parking lot, jumped in the car, and tore out of there. The whole drive home, I kept second-guessing myself. What if there was really a baby? What if he just wanted to confront us? But deep down, I knew something was seriously wrong. I haven't gone back to that entrance since. Sometimes I hike from different parts of the park, but lately I've noticed baby clothes scattered along the trails. Little socks, a onesie, and every time, that same cold feeling crawls up my spine. It happened a few weeks ago. One day, on our school campus while school was on, my mother and the teachers in the kindergarten saw something horrific. Our campus consists of an apartment where we live, a ground, a separate college, and a school of ours, and the kindergarten block in front of our school. As my mother was doing her work in the AV room, and my friends were playing outside in the playground, and my class was having IT practicals, a very strange person of an unknown gender walked into our school. They had a very thick cloth on their head. A very thick one, with no chances to even see out of it, yet they walked in a perfectly straight line all the way to our campus. My mother was the first one to see them. She was scared and horrified. A very strange feeling came over her. If you see a stranger and get scared, you'll only be afraid, but she felt something else too. Something she couldn't explain. Something weird. The feeling was so intense that she wanted to lock herself in the room and hide, but she couldn't. Being a coordinator, with everyone relying on her, she couldn't. Rushing out, she told the cleaner to lock the block's gate. Listening to my mother's words, she did, and they went away from the kindergarten. The PT teachers chased her out. The security was useless. A day passed, and we went to sleep like usual. School was over, and it was night. We brought our dog in, cats on the bed, everything was going nice. Sleep came steady, until my dog started barking. His sound was never like before. It was strange, aggressive, as if he had seen something nobody was supposed to see. We woke up, but were very sleepy. My mother went and made him stop, and then I stood at the doorway to stop him from barking when he started again. Then, something strange happened. I had a very strange feeling. I was afraid, and so was my mother. But being a parent with a child, she had to be brave. She went to him and comforted my dog, but then she could hear sounds from the outside. Drawing back the curtain, she peered out and saw nothing. She was confused. Something was wrong. My dog never barked like that. He was a 5-month-old puppy anyway. No puppy would bark that harsh. Something was wrong, she could feel it. Opening the door, she came to know that there were members of our buildings awake, and there was an unwanted guest. The day the unknown person who came to our school dressed in the all-white with the cloth had come to the school again after the PT teachers had chased them out during school hours. And before they could enter, the drivers chased them away, all the way to a pond where they naturally collapsed. It was said that they sat under the tree that was near the pond for 2 days. Why? We never knew, and we never will. There are some strange things that go unanswered, and maybe should be unanswered. The drivers used a long stick to unravel the cloth to see their faces. It was a lady, a very dark lady. Back to the night, she had come back. She had gone to one of our teachers' houses and banged on their window. Each time, it got louder. Louder and louder until it shifted to the door and then stopped. She held the rails and was swaying back and forth and singing a very strange tune. Then she hung her body, almost falling, and said something before she moved. We suppose, since my dog never cared about anybody else, she must have come to our floor, and hearing her and feeling that same strange feeling, something that isn't supposed to be there, she must have knocked, and he must have heard and felt her to start barking. Perhaps it was because of him that she didn't do anything and left. Now my mother came into the house, telling me that somebody was there. I became useless, searching for my glasses that seemed to have disappeared, so she took my dog and left. I found my glasses shortly after. They were under the blanket where they were never supposed to be. I went down. The old ladies and the teachers' wives were out with their baby. My friend came out, but since we had a fight in school, she just went back in and slept. I became alert like never before, my senses sharp as I strained to listen to my mother's and the other voices. Some college teacher, along with our school teachers, our principal and her son, and my mother and dog, all set out, and I had my glasses fixed onto their faraway shadows. I listened. One time they were near, the other time they weren't. I had my eyes on the road too. I had imagined on what should I do if the strange lady comes back. Should I first toss the older lady into the house and then hide? Suddenly, a shrill moan cut through the lady's chattering voices. I froze. What happened? Then it came again, and again, and then it suddenly stopped. I waited, but there was no more. Everyone came back. They were smiling. I rushed to greet my dog. He was a hero that day. Apparently, the lady was a psycho who could speak in a perfect language. Earlier that day, at 6 p.m., when me and my dog and my mother went out to throw out the trash, we actually saw her sitting under a tree and staring at our school. Our gates closed before 6. Could it mean she has come in before 6 and hid somewhere where we couldn't see? The lady cursed at my mother and the others as they all interrogated her. She only said that she was from a faraway place where we once lived. Then, my mother was the first one, with a sling of a stick she held, came a sharp smack on the lady's leg, which as earlier I said of a sudden moan and a scream. Then, the others followed and they chased her away. My dog was running after her and he dragged my mother along as she grabbed onto his leash. But if you would think that it ended there, we got peace and that she'd never come back, you would be wrong. She came back the next morning.